Two superhuman open-world sandbox games were announced back in 2014 for PS4 and Xbox One. One came out on time, and the other almost didn't release at all. Let's take a deep look at PlayStation's infamous Second Son versus Xbox's Crackdown 3. This is Colteastwood. Let me start off with a disclaimer that I'm a big fan of the infamous series on PlayStation and a big fan of the Crackdown games on Xbox. Today I'm going to break down the visuals, gameplay, and open world offered by these two wildly different games that offer an open world playground with superhero-like abilities. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and let's get powered up and take a look at these two games. First, we'll travel to the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington with Delson of infamous Second Son. We'll start with the visuals. If we're comparing visuals between infamous Second Son and Crackdown 3, it's no contest. In fact, I'd argue that infamous Second Son is one of the most gorgeous open-world cities exclusive to the PS4. The drenched sunset and eclectic coffee shop and boutiques adorned with neon made infamous Second Son one of the best-looking games in 2014, period. The environment is further accented by smoke and lighting that serves as a source of power and ammo for combat. Combat in infamous Second Son is a fast-paced, third-person shooter where you are meant to always be on the move. Shooting is precise and hard-hitting with smoke, neon, and video-coded pixels acting as projectiles. Infamous boasts some of the best particle effects accelerated by the PS4's graphics engine, making the game shining eye candy in and out of hectic fights. The world is filled with cars, pedestrians, military, and collectibles. This version of Seattle is compact, scaled down for traversal up and over buildings, using your running and your gliding powers to get in and out of fights. You can further power up Delson by collecting drones and power shards, making you faster and more powerful. Infamous Second Son started off witty, challenging, and fun, but toward the end of this 30-hour open-world superhero story, most players found the repetitive nature of Infamous to wear on an otherwise near-perfect game. Still, it scored an 80 on Metacritic, and it was well received by almost everyone. No word of a fourth game, but Insomniac has a few things in the works, and there's no reason why we won't see an Infamous 4. Crackdown comes from a pedigree of an old era in the early 2000s and shows its foundation in the city of New Providence. The city is large and varied with a shantytown industrial area all surrounding a massive vertically imposing downtown of skyscrapers. The visuals are pared down with a comic book art style with muted textures, dark contrast, and bright colors, decorating the city with a Tron and Blade Runner inspired neon aesthetic. The city is surprisingly sparse, with minimal amount of traffic and pedestrians. Unlike Infamous, you can drive the cars in the city and they transform as you level up and can be taken on the streets and off. Combat is a third-person run-and-gun lock-on mechanic, meant to keep you on the move in all directions, especially up. There is a wide gamut of arsenal available in your inventory and to pick up from enemies on the fly, ranging from bullet and rocket-based guns to electricity and chemical beam rifles. Crackdown presents the mayhem of crime fighting with bloom lighting and GPU-accelerated particles, bringing some well-needed color and vibrance to an Xbox library full of normally subdued graphics. The gameplay is centered around taking down three huge powerful factions of sinister crime lords as an augmented, constantly improving super cop. Everything you do earns you XP for that action, and gathering green agility orbs makes it possible to jump over buildings and ground pound clusters of bad guys with the power of RoboCop and the strength of Thor. The previous Crackdown games have scored an 83 for the first one and 70 for the second. This one is being approached with tempered expectations by the gaming media, while the biggest YouTube influencers were surprisingly lauded and impressed. I'll be reviewing Crackdown 3 this week and have it up on the channel Monday the 11th. I really enjoy these type of games and there just isn't enough of them this generation on consoles. I'm looking forward to seeing if Crackdown 3 impresses or surprises the critics, but I won't hold my breath. If you like this video or enjoyed the footage, subscribe to the channel. If you want to talk to me or ask me anything, add me on Xbox Live and Twitter at Colteastwood, and let me know if you're looking forward to Crackdown 3, and maybe give me a prediction for the final review score. I'm a big fan of Crackdown, so while you're in the comments section, please be nice.